This was a highly requested one. So we had F1 Arcade, we had Bat Box, put out some Sportainment, Eatertainment, which is what we're going to call it today. So I had to have you on and appreciate you this post-Memorial Day episode. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So glad you reached out. Happy to be here.
I want to start here. You talked about in a former article this job opportunity, Chicken and Pickle, fell into your lap. You're from what you called the good side of Kansas or Kansas City, or however you phrase that. But, give us the lowdown of how you ended up in this spot and, Chicken Pickle and its inception as well.
You bet. Well, I just started as a customer. So in 2016, Chicken and Pickle opened its first location in North Kansas City, Missouri. And a good friend of mine reached out and invited me to come play pickleball. I had never heard of pickleball. I had no idea where in Kansas City I was headed, but my personality is like, sure, why not? So we went on a Sunday and I fell in love with the concept. And I really started playing very regularly on Sundays. It was kind of my Sunday fun day. And that is how I got to know the founder on the pickleball courts. And that just shows you the beauty of the game, right? We never would have crossed paths other than on the pickleball court. And at the time, I was helping a nonprofit raise money for a cancer center about 6 miles from the Chicken and Pickle. And I had approached the founder about hosting a fundraiser. I just had this vision in my head. I want to host a charity pickleball tournament. Again, back in 2016, people didn't know what pickleball was. And he was so generous, kind of threw up his arms and said, we've never had a fundraiser. But we can do it. I'll give you the courts, but you're going to have to run with this. I'm like, great, I got it. So long story short, planned a fundraiser, hosted the event when the Chicken and Pickle had been open about a year. And long story short, it ended up being a wonderful day of business for Chicken and Pickle. The founder saw the impact we were able to make for this cancer center up the road. And that's how it all started. I had an email, can you come see me the next week? And I thought, he's going to want me to make a little playbook of what I did and best practices. But I walked in his office and he looked right at me and said, I want to hire you. How many of these can you do? So, and at the time, I was not looking for a job. I really was very content with my life, but I agreed to start part-time because I so believed in the concept. I so believed that Chicken and Pickle was this magical place. And you can do good with it. I kept telling him, man, you can do such good with this when you're not busy. Lean into those non-prime times and go impact the community. So that is how it all started.
So 2 things. Pickleball is the new golf. It's where business gets done.
Yes.
And then, again, it sort of shows the power of community, right? Like you said, it can do good. There's all around it. I was looking actually on Google. It's the first location, which is in Kansas City. I mean, there was 4,000 reviews, over 4.5 star. That one's crushed it. I guess you learned how to do one well, and I don't know if it started expanding before you got there or not, but then one has the rollout looked like. How have you said, okay, we've done this great in one area with one location. We got to get this across the country.
Yeah. And when I came on board, we owned land in Wichita, which is our second location. We had not broken ground yet, but through our growth, we have 10 open and operating today. And our first several, we kept very close to Kansas City. You will notice a pattern. They were all on I-35. And that was pretty strategic. All about 2.5 hours away. So Wichita was our second location. San Antonio was our third. I could kind of go through the list, but most of our locations are up and down I-35. We feel strongly that this is a Midwest value type of concept, and it has thrived in the Midwest. We do have one open in Arizona. It was our first one, not on I-35, and we are opening in Henderson, Nevada later this year. So we're starting to expand, but we wanted to keep it close, keep our culture, keep it drivable. We could get to any of our locations from another location by car. That was very important to us as we expanded.
Okay, so I-35, do you look at anything else in terms of demographics or, I know some of the other concepts, they like to be in corporate centers. It sounds
Yeah.
like you're looking different than that. What other things are into that factor?
Yeah, and we do. We feel like we're this unique concept. We like to go into communities that are craving something like chicken and pickle. We don't love to go into saturated markets. San Antonio, great example. They hardly had pickleball courts when we opened there in 2020. So we look for family friendly. We look for lots of rooftops. We are lucky that and I don't take this for granted because this it may not last forever, but we probably get 3 to 6 inquiries a day.
Hmm.
People want us to come to their community. So we look at all of them, but we do look at overall population. That's probably our number one driver, and we want to be unique. The communities that really want us put some great incentives for us to come, and we lean into those. But nothing like driving, seeing a location. You have a pretty good gut instinct if a chicken and pickle will do well there.
And so I guess before we get too far into this, the elevator pitch, if someone's like, "Hey, what do you do?" and you're like, "I'm president of Chicken and Pickle." What is that? Like, how are you explaining it in simple terms?
Yeah, I use TopGolf a lot, which we love TopGolf. I admire that company. We are great friends with them, but my I usually say we're like a TopGolf around pickleball, but we're very low tech. And we try to do that on purpose. I will often describe us as the coolest backyard you've ever been in,
Hmm.
and we are extremely inclusive. Um, we're so much more than just a restaurant. We're so much more than just pickleball courts. We really are this memory making, cool backyard that everyone is welcome.
And then the food side, what does that look like? Do you have like a go-to? They're all the same? Are they different based on, is the Arizona one different than the San Antonio or?
There are slight varieties, but I would say 90% the same. So
Hmm.
90% the same. Our founder's favorite restaurant is called Chicken Chicken in the Caymans. And when he decided to take a big chance, everyone thought he was crazy on the first chicken and pickle. He knew I want chicken and chicken like the Caymans, and I want pickleball courts. And that's kind of what we were built off of. But we have an executive chef. He oversees all the menus, all locations. We are a scratch kitchen. The only thing we freeze are our tater tots and our fried pickles because we sell so many fried pickles. We used to
Hmm.
make them fresh, and we spent a lot of labor slicing those pickles. So it is a very fresh, good chicken based menu, even though we have pulled pork and smash burgers and some other items as well.
Very cool. And so as you open up a new, we'll just call it site, what does it look like? What do you have to build out? What goes into that? Are you, like starting at the beginning, do you have to raise money for an individual location? You got to go, I know you tease some of it of, you got to go to the city or the state and they might give you some grant money and then you got to start hiring. Like, what are you hiring? I'm just curious, sort of, obviously, even if we give people the secrets, they can't even go really do it. But like, what does that look like as you're opening up a new one? What are all the things that go into it?
Gosh, yeah, we have a strong development team. We picked the site. Every site is a little different design, and a lot of times it's due to the land that we're going on, but we have an internal architect that designs our chicken and pickles. He's designed from our second one on, so he's fabulous. So we get the land, we get the site, we get that design. We are about a month, or sorry, I wish, a year of construction. But by the time we break ground, it's about 12 months till we are open and operating. We hire our full-time key hires starting about 6 months out to get them well trained. And then we do a mad rush of hiring. Most of our locations have a staff of about 150 to 200. Now, a lot of that is part time employees and teammates, which we just cannot thank enough. They are the ones that make the magic happen every day. But we do a mad rush of hiring about 30 days out. But
Hmm.
we do have one founder. So that is, we try to have consistency in all markets. We have a training team that will live at that location for about 6 or 8 weeks. And we really try to get those key hires ingrained in our culture.
And is TopGolf sort of the North Star of, hey, we want to do a similar type thing, but in pickleball
Yeah.
across probably the world, right? At some point.
Yeah. And they have grown a concept and they have done it well. And there's been a handful of people that have tried to knock off TopGolf, big shots, tee shots, drive shack. And we really study, the knockoffs and why they couldn't do it.
Hmm.
That's one thing I admire so much about TopGolf. They had that first mover advantage, which we think we have, but they never let anyone catch up with them.
Hmm.
We know the CEO very well. We pick his brain probably twice a year. We'll get together in person. I love learning from them. I have nothing but compliment after compliment to say about that team. Where we're so different, TopGolf has 70 to 100 bays. Our locations have 6 to 8 to 14 pickleball courts. So we do run a very different model. TopGolf, they want you in and out. They want you to come to their bay, then move on with someone else. We want you to hang out for hours on our property. We want you to
Hmm.
play, move to the game yard, eat, rooftop. So there are a lot of things that make us different. That was
And
a
what's
long answer for yes. We want to be like Topgolf.
No, I love that. And I'm curious, what are some of those things that you saw in the competitors to Top Golf that, like, what were some of the mistakes they made, or what were some of the things that you had mentioned that briefly, and I just wanted to go a bit deeper on that. If there's
Yeah.
anything that sort of stood out.
Um, I think what really stood out was they just couldn't crack it, and it's more what stood out to me is like, what did Topgolf do right versus what did the competitor not do? I think that first mover advantage, I can't tell you how many lessons we've learned. And listen, we're still learning them. By no means are we an
Hmm.
expert in running a pickleball facility, but we are determined and gritty and scrappy, and we're learning every day. But I do think Topgolf, they stuck to what they were good at. They had their vision and they did not veer. And that's something I want to make sure we do at Chicken and Pickle. We can't lose what made us great. We somehow got from one store in North Kansas City to all of a sudden we have 10, which has gone so quick. We have 3 currently under construction. The next 3 will start here soon. But how do we not lose what made us get here? And Topgolf did a very good job of not losing that.
And have you learned anything from 1 to 10? Like, where has there been any? I mean, obviously you learn things, but like from a scaling perspective, have things changed? If you having to remove yourself or hire more people, or was there anything in that of now? If you think, okay, 1 to 10, but now what does 10 to 50 look like? Because they're different businesses to run as it grows.
They are, God, oh my gosh, we've learned so much. One thing that still blows my mind is how many events we host.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such an important part of our business. I don't, when we were first opening, that really wasn't a huge vision. We were so focused on great food and come learn the game of pickleball. It can be life changing, but the amount of events, from corporate events to family birthday parties to retirement to a community event, it is such a magical part, that as we move forward, we're very intentional with event space because we know people love to do that. And, we did not do this on purpose, but we have built this property that fosters human connection. And I think that's something that has spurred our growth a lot. We didn't mean for people to walk on our property and put their cell phones down, but that's what happens when you get on a pickleball court and you don't play by yourself. You have to have other humans. And we have really leaned into that. We are a place where the world can disconnect. And I think it's something that our consumers were craving, whether they knew it or not. And it's part of the reason why people have such a great time at Chicken and Pickle. It is just kind of like old fashioned, connect with other humans. And it's a really beautiful thing that we're really proud of.
If you had to guess average age, or you might even have the data on this, what is the? I'm sure you have everything from young kids who come with their parents to young adults to older folks. Like, what is the? Do you have like an average age or any idea? Or is it really just that?
Yeah, I mean, we had a third party marketing firm do a big analysis actually this year. And they came back and they said, well, you are 4 to 104,
Yeah.
which we truly are. But if I had to pick a age range, I would probably say young families is primarily who we are, because we actually love kids running around. Bring it on. Bring it
Hmm.
on. Please stay, eat, drink, and let your kids go play some of our free yard games. And so I'd probably say like 30s to 50s is a very popular, even though we have kids camps to senior play. And I mean, we are super inclusive.
And inside outside, I'm assuming it's both.
It
Obviously, Kansas City has, I believe, like the full weather spectrum. Arizona doesn't, though. Like, does that play into some of it as well?
Yeah, and we do. We are an indoor outdoor venue. I've talked a lot about the outdoor. We have just as much indoor space. So all of our courts are air conditioned except for our original location, North Kansas City. Just if you come in the summer, we do. That is the one we do not have air conditioned, but Arizona, our courts are air conditioned and the outdoor courts are all covered. So that's something you don't find everywhere. Henderson, Nevada will be the same. But we are this indoor outdoor venue. There's tons of indoor space as well. But when the weather
Yeah,
is right, is when we find ourselves the busiest.
that makes sense. Yeah. From I'd read another article. You built the partnerships team,
Yes.
uh, uh, Chicken and Pickle. What did that look like? How did you go about that? And when you're hiring or looking for the right people, what stood out? We have a lot of people that listen to this that are looking for their next thing or to start their next thing.
Yeah. Our I always had a vision of I want a strong partnership team. An ex-athlete in the Kansas City area had retired. He played professional soccer 13 years. Matt Beasler's his name, played on the
Hmm.
men's national team. And I've always admired who he was as a person, just a great human. I got wind he was retiring, and I thought that is who I want to build this partnership team. So we connected. He took a chance. It was trailblazing a new role. We are still figuring out what partnerships looks like for Chicken and Pickle, but we do know there's so many things we want to keep doing, and there's so many great partners. What one example, and we've really just started to launch and have some success, is we have partnered with a lot of corporate companies that are paying court fees for our adaptive pickleball leagues, and it's really cool. And that way our adaptive athletes actually get to come play twice a month for free. We have different corporate companies that are covering that court cost, and that is makes me so happy. Vital Farms, they're a great egg company. We buy a lot of eggs. They partnered with us at all 10 locations for our egg hunt. We open our properties early the Saturday before Easter, and we have a special needs egg hunt. We are very picky on who we let in. We make sure it's really special, and these great families have an hour of a really peaceful egg hunt and free breakfast. And Vital Farms was able to help us financially, provide some amazing memories. And then we opened to the public, and they partnered with us on that second egg hunt, which was crazy. So those are just a few examples of the partnerships. I want to tie them into our community efforts, and I want to have a bigger impact. That is the vision on that partnership team, because we are such an inclusive property. And I believe everyone can play pickleball. I'm on a mission from God to make sure everyone gets that experience, and they know we want them at Chicken and Pickle. And we'll find the right community partners to remove that cost barrier for them.
Yeah, and it seems like Chicken and Pickle was the perfect transition for what you were doing before to
Yes.
now. Like it's pretty cool. And correct me if I'm wrong. Well, anytime I do, I try to always do my research, but my pickleball contact is always my mom, who plays like 4 times. I go, hey, you know anything about this company? I'm having, Kelli on the podcast. And she said that you guys partnered with a professional pickleball player now. Are you starting to get into that? Or could you share a little bit more about the thoughts or insights? Because that was super interesting to me. I was like, usually it's, consumer brands, it's an actual facility doing it.
Yeah, we do. We sponsor 14 professional pickleball. That's who's on our roster this year. And when we are looking who we want to sponsor and approach, we are 100% looking at their core values. That's that the last thing on my list is their ranking. Who are they as a human? What do they represent? What is their court demeanor? Even more importantly, what are they like off the court? And is this someone that we want wearing our brand? And we have a wide variety. We have Georgia Johnson's one of our youngest. She is stellar. We have a couple on the senior tour, and we have a good variety, but we really look for those professionals that line up with our core values. And, at the end of the day, are they helping us sell more chicken sandwiches and pickleball courts? I think in some instances, yes, but they are really out there driving our brand. And that's what I look at by sponsoring. They are driving our brand awareness, our reputation, and our brand recognition. And it's been so fun. We've done this for years. This is really our 4th year sponsoring different athletes. But now on Sundays, I'll flip on CBS or ESPN2, and there's our chicken and pickle hat being rocked on the court.
Mm,
So I feel like there's really been some movement this year, especially with our sponsored pros.
very cool. And where do you see, where are you trying to take Chicken and Pickle over the next 5 to 10 years? Where's your head at, or where? I mean, I'm sure you probably can't even look that far ahead because you got a million things right in front of you. But where do you see this vision going, and what are some core objectives or things on the pipeline beyond, some of these ones right in front of us?
Yeah, I do. I In 5 years, I hope we're at, let's see, 25, 30 chicken and pickles. I truly believe every community needs a chicken and pickle. I think it is so much more. And I said it's so much more than just a restaurant or pickleball courts. It is a true community venue. Um, I am very motivated by the staff that's working with us. And listen, none of us are experts. The team that has come together, there's so many of us. If it's not from day one, it's from year one or year two. And I get a lot of motivation by seeing there's so many of them that have started in the restaurant, maybe a server, and then they've become, a key hourly or got a full-time position, and now in our corporate office. Like, I really want to impact the staff that we have with us and set them up for huge success that they never would have dreamed.
Very cool. I guess on that, you want one in every community. What's some things in Eatertainment you're paying attention to, or what are more of the macro trends where you're, okay, here's chicken and pickle over here, but over here is just society and the macro of these type of concepts of playing and eating and running around all at the same time.
Yeah, and I tell you, I went to a conference in January this year in LA, and it was very Eatertainment, and I was blown away by all the concepts. And it was like, karaoke around a bar and a dance club. And there's so many concepts, which I think is awesome. I think the way the world is right now, people are looking for more than, I want more than a restaurant. I want more than just going somewhere. And I want to be a part of it. I think the thing that sets us apart, a lot of these new concepts are very high tech. I would describe a lot of the concepts I saw almost clubby, 21 plus,
Mm.
neon bright, high tech. And we have to stay simple. We say this a lot in the office if we're like pulling our hair out, having a crazy day. Like, oh yeah, it's all about a plastic ball and a paddle.
Yeah.
Let's not overcomplicate who Chicken and Pickle is. Um, I'm very interested in the next 5 years what Eatertainment looks like. I think it's going to look very different. I think we're going to have a million options. And I think a lot of them are going to be in line. I think a lot of them are going to be in malls or going to be, in a big retail space that they lost their tenant where we are a standalone building, but I really do have my eye on what is going in the malls and the large retail spaces.
Yeah, that is interesting. What what are socials, website? Where can people learn more, or find the locations, or when their future ones coming? What's the rundown?
Absolutely. Chickenandpickle.com. We have a great website. It's getting better too. That, like I said, we've learned so much. We're really putting some improvements into our website. Our social media, we have a local social media channel at every location. So if you look us up on Instagram, there's going to be 10 that pop up plus Chicken and Pickle HQ. So HQ is kind of our headquarters, corporate per se, but each location we do have a local account because they're all different, and we host different events at different locations, and we think that's really important. We want to feel local. We don't want to be this corporate brand opening up. We want to lean into our communities. So we are present on Facebook, Instagram. Chicken and Pickle HQ would probably be the best one, but if you want to dig in locally, each of our locations has its own channel.
I love it. Well, Kelli, appreciate you coming on today. This is great insights, and I think we delivered on the pickleball front that everyone wanted in this. I keep calling it sportainment, eatertainment, whatever it is,
Yeah,
competitive socializing. I mean, there's a million words.
absolutely. And we are if you were to walk into a Chicken and Pickle, most of our guests are very social players. I always kind of think there's three categories of pickleball. There's the competitive, there's the amateur, there's the social. And we fluctuate during the day. We have everyone's welcome, but our restaurant opens at 11, our courts open at 7 or 8 a.m. So we really get those competitive players in early. But once our restaurant opens, we really see the players that are there for the first time or just looking for a great hour with the kids. Um, I enjoy the variety of groups that come in and play. And again, it's just there's so many different levels of pickleball, and you can always spot a first timer. It's the people that show up, check in at pickleball. They look way too cute. Is this your first time? I thought it was. People don't realize what a workout is, but it's so fun to witness introducing people to the game.
And this always happens. There's always something else. Top Golf introduced a lot of people to golf,
Yeah.
but pickleball has already somewhat exploded. I think it has a lot more. I don't even really know where I'm going with this, but like, where do you see that balance? Do you see it introducing a lot of people to pickleball? Do you see a lot of people actually, thanks to pickleball, growing, now wanting the flip side, or any thoughts around that?
I know. Gosh, but before the pandemic, I truly like our first few stores. I feel like we introduced pickleball. I really do. Post pandemic, I I felt like people had heard of it or played it. And oh my gosh, I didn't realize there was a facility where I could go play. So we never saw this pickleball boom coming. It just kind of organically happened, I'd say halfway through the life of Chicken and Pickle. And it's been awesome. Um, when I first started, it's almost like I was on repeat. What is pickleball? Well, let me explain.
Mm.
Same conversation like 20 times a day. And now it's honestly rare to find someone that's not heard of pickleball. We
Yeah.
don't have to make our what is pickleball information cards we used to make for so many of our marketing materials anymore.
Do you think 36.5 million players is, or it might be up now, but like, do you think those numbers are low, high? What are your thoughts on some of the studies?
I mean, I think they're high. Well, meaning I love it. I think it's accurate. I think it's
Yeah.
accurate. Um, but we talk about this like there's 36 million people playing. Have they played with us? Have they heard of us?
Hmm.
It's motivating, and I really think we're only going to continue to see that to grow. The inclusive sport sells itself. That's nothing we're doing special. You get someone with a paddle and a ball for that first time, they will be hooked.
Hmm. Well, I look forward to getting to a chicken and pickle. I haven't been to one yet, but
We
we'll
will
make that happen.
change that. We will change
We will
that.
change that.